以下共享今日主题：念波与梦，独头意识。集数栏目19集是异次元解密。首先共享概说：念波与意识。意识思维 （consciousness thinking） 是时代的产物，这是人人应该具备的时代概念。意识意指人类个体对自身内部和外部存在的感知 （perception） 或认识 （recognition）， 它是我人生活中最熟悉却又是最神秘的领域。所谓最熟悉者，是有表层意识，即佛教所谓前六识：眼识、耳识、鼻识、舌识、身识，就能看、听、嗅、尝，并且感知得到意识运作的功能。至于最神秘者，意指深层潜意识的运作，佛教将它划分为第七末那识以及第八阿赖耶识。然而，念波的发射与接收涉及我人第六意识的活动，念波的强度与频率决定发射与接收的成功与否。因为我人的心念生灭牵流，有如电光瀑水般急剧变动，导致念波极易被干扰，除非有甚深禅定功夫，否则不易掌握。因此，一般人的念波只有当五官眼耳鼻舌身的知觉暂时被关闭时，例如睡眠时，念波的发射与接收，其效果才能显著。因此，由第六意识讨论念波与梦的关系，有其绝对的必要性。以下共享第六意识三大功能。我人的做梦与第六意识息息相关。第六意识有三大功能如下：第一，五具意识与前五识眼耳鼻舌身识同步现起作用，例如眼看、耳听、鼻闻、皮肤接触、舌头辨味，此其第六意识所赋予的分别 distinguish 的功能。我人的认知、记忆等功能皆属于脑的作用，脑的作用就是识。第二，四大独头意识。独头意识意指它们不受前五识的约束，具有独立运作能力。更多细节请详阅下一独立篇幅独头意识简介。第三，业识持续功能。第六意识虽然不住变动，但仍然有一种持续的功能，将过去时的种子带到未来时，造成生生世世的延续。这个种子佛法称为业力或业识。此生过去时乃至无量生尚未释出业种子的力量，就是潜伏在第六意识之中。这说明我人的未来时，时时刻刻、分分秒秒受今生行为造作的力量，该印记的影响，持续至下一生。综而观之，我等凡夫的业识，乃因错误的造作行为能量覆盖般若根本智 prajna wisdom， 因而退化成是 consciousness， 是为智退转成是。圣人则已经没有业识的干扰，直接转世成智，是为转化凡夫有漏的八识，成为佛的四智，即转第八识为大圆净智，转第七识为平等性智，转第六识为妙观察智，转前五识为成所作智。以下共享独头意识简介。就佛教唯识心理学的观点，与做梦相关的是第六意识当中的独头意识 （independently arising thinking consciousness）。独头者意指第六识能独起思想，独自分别一切现象，或独立运作回忆过去的事儿，单独生出极猛力的适用。因为第六识不必具起前五识眼耳鼻舌身识，故名独头意识。独头意识又分四种：梦中独头、定中独头、散位独头、狂乱独头。其中与梦境相关者是谓梦中独头意识，与禅定相关者谓之定中独头意识。凡夫平日心散乱，是名散位独头。至于狂乱独头意识，乃精神错乱者所独有的虚妄幻想幻听。今日主题：梦中独头意识，意指在睡眠之际攀援梦中诸境界，这是心王第八阿赖耶识所积藏的行为能量种子，变现成梦中种种境界。当我人做梦时，因为前五识已经全部关闭，此时平时造作的善恶行为记录之能量种子，积藏在心王第八阿赖耶识，被梦中独头意识所攀援，而呈现各种善恶幻象境界。此事之故，我人所谓美梦，其实是平日我人所造作的善行为记录。当它尚未变现成为果报之前的善能量，被梦中独头意识所攀援而成。反之，错误的行为记录所蓄积的负能量，则形成噩梦。以下共享经典援引：睡眠身心不得自在。成为世论云：眠为睡眠，令身不自在；昧略为性，障观为业。为睡眠位身不自在，心即暗裂。经文教导，睡眠之际， 仿佛身体不得自在，因此有情的第六意识心理作用自然与睡眠心所共起活动，因而形成梦。经文同步强调，我人睡眠中不仅身体得不到自在，人心更因睡眠中的种种造作彰显心暗劣的一面。以下共享圣玄结论：第六意识统摄念波与梦。第六意识是为意识流 （stream of consciousness）， 它的特质既流动又变化。我人的意识，一种是与环境情境相互对应，通过五官五根产生功能，是为前五识；另一种则恒常依情境而变化不已，流动不居，这就是第六意识，与前五识合称前六识。第六意识即便在梦中、定中、散味中，乃至精神狂乱中，第六意识都可以超越五官而独立运作，犹如湍流一般地流动不已，地变不止。Let's share today's topic, Thought Impulse and Dreams, Independently Arising Thought Consciousness, Volume and Column, Number 19, Alternate Dimension Decryption. Let's share overview, Thought Impulse and Consciousness. Consciousness thinking is a product of the times, a concept that everyone should possess in the era. Consciousness refers to the individual's perception or recognition of their internal and external existence. It's my life's most familiar yet mysterious realm, the so-called most familiar aspect related to the surface consciousness, precisely the Buddhist concept of the first six consciousness, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body consciousness, through which one can see, hear, smell, taste, and perceive. The most mysterious aspect pertains to the operation of the deep subconscious, classified in Buddhism as the seventh consciousness, Manas Vijnana, and the eighth consciousness, Alaya Vijnana. However, the emission and reception of resonance waves involved the activity of the sixth consciousness. The strength and frequency of resonance waves determined the success of emission and reception, since the thoughts and emotions of individuals undergo rapid and constant fluctuation. Much like flashes of lightning or cascading water, this results in resonance waves are highly susceptible to interference. With profound meditative skills, it's easier to control this fluctuation effectively. Therefore, the resonance waves of ordinary individuals only display significant effects when the perceptions of the five senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongues, and body are temporarily closed, such as during sleep. In this context, the emission and reception of resonance waves become notable. Hence, from the perspective of the sixth consciousness, there's an absolute necessity to discuss the relationship between resonance waves and dreams. Let's share the sixth consciousness, three main functions. The phenomenon of dreaming in human is closely related to the sixth consciousness. The sixth consciousness encompasses three main functions as follows. Number 1, five simultaneous arising sense consciousness. It operates in sync with the first five consciousness, eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and body consciousness. For instance, the functions of seeing with the eyes, hearing with the ears, smelling with the nose, touching with the skin, and tasting with the tongue are all attributed to the sixth consciousness, providing the ability to distinguish. Recognition and memory are both functions of the brain. The function of the brain is synonymous with consciousness. Number 2, four independently arising thought consciousness, IATC. IATC refers to operating independently without being constrained by the first five consciousness. For further details, please refer to the upcoming dedicated section, Independent Overview of Single-Headed Consciousness. Number 3, karma consciousness, sustained function. Although the sixth consciousness remains changing, it possesses a continuous function of carrying the seeds from past lives into future ones, leading to the perpetuation of life after life. These seeds referred to in Buddhism as karma, karmic force, or karma consciousness, are latent within the sixth consciousness, so that the power of the seeds of actions performed in this life, past lives, and even countless future lives is dormant within the sixth consciousness. It elucidates that the imprints of one's present actions constantly influence every moment of one's future life, sustaining their impact until the next life. In summary, due to the enormous energetic effects of their actions, the karma consciousness of lay people obscures the fundamental prajna wisdom, leading to degeneration into consciousness, the so-called regression of wisdom into consciousness. In contrast, enlightened beings are free from the interference of karma consciousness, directly transforming consciousness into wisdom. This implies the conversion of the eight consciousness tainted by defilements in lay people into the four wisdoms of a Buddha, namely transforming the eighth consciousness into the great mirror wisdoms, the seventh consciousness into the equality wisdom, the sixth consciousness into the marvelous observing wisdom, and the first five consciousness into the accomplishing wisdom. Let's share independently arising thought consciousness introduction. From the perspective of Buddhist Yogacara psychology, the aspect related to dreaming as the independently arising thinking consciousness, ISTC, within the sixth consciousness. The above IATC, independently arising thinking consciousness, implies that the sixth consciousness can independently generate thoughts, discern all phenomena independently, operate in recalling past events independently, and produce extremely sharp and potent functions. It's called independently arising thinking consciousness because the sixth consciousness does not necessarily depend on the simultaneous arising of the first five consciousness, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body consciousness. The IATC, independent arising thinking consciousness, is further categorized into four types: dreaming single-headed, meditative single-headed, scattered single-headed, and delirious single-headed. Among these, the one related to dreams is referred to as dreaming single-headed consciousness. The one associated with meditation is called meditative single-headed consciousness. When the layperson's mind is catered and in disarray during daily activities, it's termed a scattered single-headed mind. As for delirious single-headed consciousness, is unique to individuals experiencing mental confusion and involves the hallucination and imaginary thoughts. Today's topic, dreaming single-headed consciousness, refers to engaging with various realms within the context of dreams during the state of sleep. This involves the manifestation of multiple dreaming-scapes from the karmic seeds of actions stored in the eighth consciousness, the storehouse consciousness. When we dream, the first five consciousnesses are closed, and the energy seeds of virtuous and non-virtuous actions accumulated through habitual conduct are stored in the storehouse consciousness. The Alaya Vijnana, the dreaming single-headed consciousness, then interacts with these stored seeds, presenting various virtuous and non-virtuous illusory realms during the dream state. For this reason, what we commonly refer to as present dream are, in fact, the virtuous energy of our everyday deeds that have yet to manifest as karmic fluence. These positive energy seeds, recorded through our righteous actions, are seized upon by the dreaming single-headed consciousness before they fully ripen into their consequence. Conversely, the accumulation of negative energy from misguided conduct gives rise to what we term nightmares. Let's share, quoting from the sutra, sleep unease physically and mentally. The Vijnana Matrata Siddhi Sastra states, sleep, which is called slumber, causes the body to be uncomfortable, is characterized by dullness, obstructs insight, and is referred to as the state of sleep, while the body is uneasy and the mind is in extreme darkness and inferiority. Teaching from the scripture, during sleep, the layperson's body is not at ease. Consequently, the mental activities of the sixth consciousness associated with the mind object naturally engage in activities during sleep, giving rise to dreams. The scripture emphasizes simultaneously that during sleep, the body lacks ease, and the various activities undertaken by the mind revealed the inferior and dark aspect of the human mind. Let's share Master Songshan's conclusion. The sixth consciousness governing the waves of thought and dreams. The sixth consciousness is called the stream of consciousness, characterized by its dual nature of constant flow and change. Human consciousness can be categorized into two types. one corresponding to the environment and situations, functioning through the five senses, known as the first five consciousness. The other type, the constant and ever-changing consciousness that flows unrestrained, depending on circumstances, as the sixth consciousness. Together, they are referred to as the first sixth consciousness. The sixth consciousness, whether in dreams, meditation, scattered state, or even in states of mental turmoil, can transcend the five senses and operate independently. It flows incessantly and undergoes continuous transformation, much like a turbulent stream.